Hey guys, Neomis here. Now for today's video, I thought let's talk about transfers. Season is over. It's time to start to look ahead of the next season. We've done the ratings. I was on 101 Arsenal yesterday. I did kind of my final ratings, and generally when I'm on 101 Arsenal, I only focus on ratings rather than kind of general news and topics. I let Apollo do his thing, and I'll do my thing here on this channel, just talking about giving news and my opinions around that news. And today, or this morning, on this bank holiday morning, great morning here in London, we got to talk about one particular transfer just because it's really come up over the last 30 minutes here at 10:30 in the morning. Has been around Buendia, Emiliano Buendia from Norwich City, who's just been promoted from the Championship, said that he is getting a lot of interest. Obviously, we know from different sources, particularly here in the UK, is that Arsenal are said to be interested in him, and Aston Villa are said to be interested in him as well, which makes sense. You know, Aston Villa kind of are in the same positions that Arsenal are, in that they're a mid-table side looking to build every single position in their team. And when you look at Buendia and what he's accomplished, you have to say that going after someone like a Buendia absolutely makes sense. Now, I have to say, looking at Emi Buendia, his time in the Premier League the first time round, I thought was okay. He's shown that he was a good player and he was one of Norwich's best player. But was he good enough to maybe start with Arsenal? Probably not. But when you look at how far we've fallen, and I've always said this in that, you know, you can't just dismiss players just because they've either come from the Championship, because as we've seen with the likes of Leeds this season and 2 seasons ago Sheffield United, you know, they're not all bad players in these teams coming up. You know, maybe their ceiling is a little bit lower, but at the end of the day, we're talking about top quality players. And when you look at Buendia and what he's produced this season, you got 15 goals and 17 assists in the Championship in 41 games. That's impressive. That's very impressive. That's a goal every 226 minutes, which I think is pretty good. Now, I mean, looking at where positioning he plays, I know everybody's been talking about him as a 10, but I think we should actually be looking at him to play more as a right winger, as a goal scoring right winger as well. I mean, he has a good balance between goals and assists, which is nice. Reminds me a little bit of Saka in terms of his numbers, uh, especially when I'm doing my research. But it's all about the price. Like, we know he's a talented player, and even though I don't believe that the numbers that he's put in the Championship will be I completely replicated within the Premier League, you would have to say, let's say he's scored 15 goals, 17 assists. That means that you're expecting somewhere about 7 to 8 goals in the Premier League, and then probably about 8 to 9 assists. That's what I think is more likely he'll get in the Premier League based on what I've seen other Championship players get. Generally, it's when they got to the Premier League, it tends to be about 50% of what they generally got in the Championship in the Premier League. And that's where I envisage seeing what Buendia will probably do for Arsenal, especially since we are only going to be playing in the Premier League. I expect a lot more numbers to be lower, and numbers that what I've just said in terms of 7 or 8 goals and about 9 assists is what I'm expecting from Buendia next season if he was to join Arsenal. Now, in terms of price, this is a big thing because, like, online he's been valued at about 20 mil, which I think is a fair price for him. Norwich sensibly are looking for more than that. I mean, obviously, because they want to make considerable amount of profit from that, based on what the current market is like. And I have a quote here from the Norwich Sporting Director talking about Emi Buendia. Stuart Webber says that, and I quote, Buendia and Aaron's will cost 30 million each at least, which for me better be more than the 30 million part, because we Arsenal can't be spending more than 30 mil when we've got all type of financial issues. He said, then goes on to say, if we do sell one, it's probably going to start with a number 3 in front of it, and that will give us great opportunities to make the whole team better as well, which completely understandable. They're coming up from the championship. Yes, they're going to have the parachute payments, and they're going to have a lot of teams interested in their players. You know, it's not just Buendia, but you got Max Aarons, who we're linked with as well. You got the likes of Cantwell, who I know he's had an injury season in the championship, but when he was in the Premier League, he was banging in goals. I think he had about 8 or 9 goals in the Premier League, and at the time, for a 22-year-old, first time in the Premier League, I thought was pretty impressive. So he's also going to have a lot of interest in him, but I think 30 mil is probably fair for the argument. So hopefully Arsenal and their negotiators can kind of keep that price down as much as they possibly can, and then we could see what happens from there. But definitely Buendia is a legitimate and an actual transfer that could happen. This isn't even one of those kind of pipe dreams or wish you could get. I think it's actual possible. I think it'd be difficult because Norwich won't want to sell him. They've just come up from the championship and they want to keep their best players together, which again, it makes sense. You know, we just saw Brentford get promoted as well, and you could have to believe that Ivan Toney from Brentford ain't going anywhere because of all of this, and we'll have to see from there. But I do like Buendia, so let's see what really happens for that. And if you feel that we should sign Buendia, definitely leave your comments below. And now finally, for my final video, as you saw from the thumbnail, Matteo Guendouzi. He has been linked away from Arsenal over the past few weeks. And we all know, based on Mikel Arteta and how things have gone, that I personally believe that Matteo Guendouzi has no future at Arsenal. I think the treatment of him probably has been slightly justified. I do think that he should have just apologized on his behavior and, yeah, kind of fall in line. But the fact that he believed that he was better than Arsenal, and now he's in a situation where Marseille are said to be very close to signing Matteo Guendouzi, which, you know what, I like this. It's probably going to be one of our first signings. Marseille was said late last week that they wanted a loan initially for Guendouzi, but Arsenal completely said no, which makes sense. He's got 1 year left on his deal. Financially, we've got to be able to kind of get some type of money for him. Marseille really want him. They're in the Champions League. Guendouzi will get his Champions League football, and you know what? He's a very good, talented player. Lots of areas to improve upon. Lots of ceiling to kind of grow. And he will do very well at Marseille. So I'm expecting that deal for us to hear that the deal is basically done, and they're basically waiting for July 1st to happen before they really kind of confirm all of these deals in place. So I definitely see a deal for Guendouzi happening here unless another club comes in for him. So we'll have to see what happens, but I think that one will probably be the first Arsenal sale. But what do you guys think in regards to Guendouzi leaving, going to Marseille? The talk is that it's for 15 million is what Arsenal want. Who knows if that's actually going to be the price? I think it's going to probably be closer to about 10 or 12, just based on the fact that Guendouzi has 1 year left on his deal, and Arsenal have completely messed this up, not thinking long term, being pretty arrogant in regards to Guendouzi. Guendouzi probably should have, in his first season, had a contract extension of maybe a couple of years added on based on his performance. And you have to say that it's been kind of disappointing, because he, along with the likes of Torreira, was supposed to be part of our sellable assets. And unfortunately, even though we're going to sell him, we're not going to make as much money as we thought that we were going to get for Guendouzi. But we all move on. We've all got situations and other players that needs to be addressed at the club. So I say that this is just another piece of the puzzle that we have decided to put in. But guys, thank you once again for watching the video. Please do comment, like, and subscribe. I know I haven't been consistent like how I was at, let's say, the start of the season. I've already made this known that this is because Arsenal's general game has just been so disappointing that I have just wanted almost nothing to do with them. But we do have a ray of hope that the transfer window is open. Things are going to be addressed. I am pessimistic, but I have hope. And I have hope that things will change. And these potential signings, these potential departures are all part of that hope. So we just got to see what happens. But I'm sure I'll speak to you guys later. Please do remember, check out some of my other content. And I'll see you all next time. Peace.